Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to this evening's programme. You're listening to Radio Mac, broadcasting on 107.1 FM from the heart of Bradford, and I'm your host, Asif Sabah, in the studio. And today we're going to continue our conversation. I was listening to Brother Adil's beautiful talk just before, between 5 and 7, and he touched on the topic of meditation and looking within yourself. So I'm going to kind of just continue that theme and talk some more about meditation, because meditation is an amazing way of understanding yourself and also looking at your own personal and individual connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's a way of exploring so many depths within yourself and seeing where you fit into the great scheme of life. And it comes down to understanding and recognizing your own conscious connection to everyone around you, as well as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So before we get into talking about meditation, we give thanks and praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to come into your homes to bring you messages of hope, happiness, peace, love and well-being, and that we may remind you of the favours that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on you and each of us in turn. As you know, this programme is dedicated to exploring the spiritual and the symbolic language of the Quran. The Quran that I use is the Allama Abdullah Yusuf Ali version that has been translated from Arabic to English. The main features of these talks are about what it's like to be a spiritual person living in this physical world. If what I quote when I do quote some verses from the Quran does not match up exactly with the version of the Quran that you have, it may be that you have got a different translated edition. And so we are going to talk about meditation because it is so important as a part of your own personal and spiritual journey, because it's a journey within yourself, but not only within yourself, but, you know, you're like an onion in some ways. And, you know, as you peel away one layer, what happens? Another layer becomes exposed. And on your inner journey, it's through all the different thoughts and ideas that you create about this physical reality. You know, as you learn to push past those ideas, you enter a beautiful state of conscious awareness that exists within your own self. And it's to this awareness that we are all striving to achieve, because this awareness that we feel within our own selves, it is through that awareness that we feel that real conscious connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, you know, when you think about this conscious connection, there are so many people that have cut this conscious connection off, or they have no memory of any kind of conscious connection. So all they have to go by is the evidence that they see around them. And so they look out at the world, and sometimes they don't realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is within themselves. And as they look out at the world, they start to make associations to the things that are external to them, because this awareness, maybe through their own thought processes, their own ways of looking at life, their own experiences, they decided, you know, or they started to disbelieve and they started to doubt. And then that doubt led them on to some kind of thought process that caused disbelief. But what meditation does, it re-establishes your connection to something greater than yourself, because as you push yourself past the thoughts within your mind, you will enter a beautiful state of conscious awareness that is beyond the everyday thoughts. And what I find is that the irregularities of this world, they don't want you to know that there is something greater than they can provide for you regarding the life of this world. And so as you explore your own inner self, your own inner connection, this is where you start to realize that there is so much more to you than what you previously believed. So allow yourself to go beyond the thoughts you have about life in this physical reality and enter into that inner sacred place beyond the life of the world. And this is where you will start to establish that divine connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And your memory of the hereafter will start to come back to you. And that's where you'll feel that real connection. Because it is through our loss of memory regarding the hereafter that we disassociate ourselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And meditation is a way of reconnecting and re-establishing that connection back to a belief in the hereafter, and that you are a spiritual person living in a physical reality, and you've only come here to experience the human condition. And as you work on yourself to elevate your consciousness, this is when you start to realize there is so much more to you than the life of the world will tell you. And so as we look at meditation and its importance in your life, you'll start to realize, and maybe if you can fit meditation into your life as a daily practice, then that is when you'll really start to establish that divine connection and have some of your own spiritual experiences along the way. And what I mean by spiritual experiences, those are experiences that are beyond the physical reality. And that in turn will increase your belief, your understanding, and even your knowledge about the wisdom within the verses of the Quran, but also yourself as a spiritual person living in this physical world. And so pay attention to the things that are taking place in your life. Look to your own inner self for answers to your inner questions. Because what happens is we spend so much time looking to the external world for answers to our inner questions, we forget that this inner world exists. And you'll find that by knowing that when you ask certain questions, and those you ask do not always have the answer, this is when you know and think, okay, maybe it's just they're lacking in awareness, but you know what you've experienced on your journey through life, and it was real to you, and it had such a profound effect upon you that it takes away all doubt. And that very first experience that you may remember, if it was something in the past, or maybe it was just the other day you had such an experience, it sets you apart from those people who may not have had such an experience, because that is something that will never leave you. You'll always remember it because it was so profound, and you will always be seeking to learn more about such an experience and how you can seek to know more about why that experience happened. And you will find the answers in the translation of the Quran if you don't understand Arabic, because it will help you to see things and understand that which you did not know before, especially when you connect it to your own inner spiritual journey. And that's when your conscious awareness or your memory of the hereafter will start to come back to you. Because when we are born into this world, what happens is we forget a lot of what we did before we came. And just for a quick reminder, if you read the story of Adam and Eve in the Quran, it tells you in some of the verses where it says, "Get ye down, all ye people, on earth will be your dwelling place." And that shows you that we were alive before we came to this world. There were more than two people who were sent forth from the hereafter into this world because of the way the verse explains itself. Plus, also, you will find information within the Quran, and I read the Allama Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation, or for short, it might just say Yusuf Ali, the Glorious Quran. And this Quran was translated from Arabic to English somewhere in the 1950s, early to middle of the 1950s. So you're talking about nearly 75 years ago, roughly. And so that is the Quran that I like to read. I know it's in the old English language, but I find that the way Yusuf Ali explains he uses certain words in the Quran that seem to sing to my own personal soul. That's why I always read that version of the Quran the most. Now, I have read many different versions, at least 5 or 6 different versions of the Quran, just to get a comparison, but I always come back to that particular version because it just sings to my soul when I read it, and I find its expression using in the translation from Arabic to English, it's perfect for me. But you might have your own Qurans, so if what I quote does not match up exactly with the version of the Quran that you have, don't worry about it. It may be just the author's own interpretation in the translation that is slightly different. Maybe they've used a few different words to express a similar thing, a similar theme. And so as you look and as you read the Quran, you will be able to apply the wisdom of the verses to your own personal experiences. And this is the beauty. This is how the Quran should be read. It's about your personal journey. It's not necessarily about everybody else's journey. But if you read the Quran like you would read a diary about your own life and see yourself in the verses of the Quran, this is when you will really start to be amazed, and it will transform your life in so many different ways. Because don't forget, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was a prophet, and the Quran came down from the highest of heavens into this physical world through the Prophet Muhammad by inspiration, peace be upon him. And so if you think about it, you came into this world from the hereafter. So that would have been a journey as you descended through the heavens to be born into this world. And if you can ascend from the hereafter into this world, that is a journey from one place to another. So what is it? How can you reverse that journey, if you like, and make the reverse journey back home? So if a journey brought you here, surely there's a process that takes you back. So why not go in search of that process that takes you back home? It exists. If you came to this world, then it must exist to go home. So all you're doing is going in search of the spiritual hereafter. And the Quran tells you to seek the home of the hereafter. And for those people who do read it, sometimes I'll come into the studio and I won't have a definite plan about what I'm going to talk about. But if you are a regular reader of the Quran, then you'll be able to recall bits of information that I use when I haven't come in to do a specific talk about, say, certain verses in the Quran. And when I do talk about certain verses, I'll have a whole list of verses. Okay, the Quran says this in this verse, and it also says this in this verse, this. And I'll go through many different verses. But sometimes I'll just come in and I'll sit down and I'll start talking about certain things, and I'll just be recalling the verses as they jump into my memory about a specific topic. So, sometimes I may not have the verses with me, and to be honest, my memory isn't that good. My memory leaks. I can even jump up out of my seat, go into the kitchen and forget what I've gone into the kitchen for. And I'm thinking, what is going on? I guess life has its tolls sometimes, but it's all part of life. So this is why I do have bits of notes here and there, but sometimes I might mention a verse, but I don't actually have the verse in front of me, but I'm just recalling it. And that's the beauty of the Quran. When you read it, what happens? You use your memory recall, especially when you're going through a difficult situation, and you say, okay, this is what's happening in my life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you'll all of a sudden remember a verse that helps you through the situation. It can be many verses that you can recall from the Quran. And this is where you are receiving divine guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a suggestion. Because don't forget, the Quran also tells you how each soul must come up struggling for itself. And that the angels, they will only plant suggestions in your mind. They will not tell you what to do. They will say, okay, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're living your life like this, you're living your life like that. So here's a suggestion to improve your life. And all of a sudden you'll start to think about a particular thing that you know is better for you than maybe what you're doing in your life at this point in time. And that is inspiration that is sent to you, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not stopped inspiration coming to you. You would not last a day without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's divine inspiration entering your life. And that is the beauty. The angels are always there with you, by your side. As you know, the angels are closer to you than your jugular vein. And so, if heaven is so close to you, then surely you know the little suggestions that come into your mind, and you think to yourself, you know, and you don't pay enough attention to it. Just like the darkness can also whisper suggestions to you when in the Quran it talks about how the Dajjal or Satan or Iblis, whatever name you want to give this darkened energy, it will suggest false desires to you. And it tells you that the darkness will suggest false desires to lead you astray. But also you get your angels. They will suggest good desires, things to guide you on your journey. And this is something you should be paying attention to, because the angels are working tremendously hard to help you on your journey through this world. And when you get those little ideas that tell you, oh, do this, you know, have fun, do this, you know, don't pay attention to all those good thoughts from your guardian angel, you know, come over here and enjoy this life instead. You know, don't pay too much attention to them, especially when you're struggling with a particular situation. Learn to surrender yourself. Learn to hand over to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your guardian angels that which will give you a break and give you that inner guidance to help you on your journey. Because we are all spiritual people. Every single soul in this world, every single human being you see has a soul. And they are all on their own individual journey. They all have guardian angels watching over them, helping them. Don't forget, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created different societies so that we might get to know each other, not despise each other in some of the ways that we find ourselves despising. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to love your neighbour, to appreciate your neighbour, even if they follow a different religion from you. Still express love. I mean, all this hatred, it's only sprung up over the last 70 or 80 years. You know, people used to live happily together, especially in the Middle East. But something's happened. And now, instead of us loving each other, living together, appreciating each other, we've put in place all this hatred. And we start to despise other people, even just because they come from a different city or somewhere else. But that is not following Islam. We must all come together. The Quran talks about unity, solitude, togetherness, appreciation, gratitude, kindness. Because these all develop you into a loving spiritual person. And as you grow in love, as you grow in trust and truth, you will expand in awareness. This expression of love that exists within you will re-establish your conscious connection to the hereafter. And then the hereafter will become a much more real place to you, rather than a place that is a tale of the ancients, as it were. Oh, that's just a myth, a fairy tale. You know, really, you know, it doesn't exist, but it does exist. If something was a lie, it wouldn't stand the test of time. And look how long Islam has been around. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my brothers and sisters, and welcome back. You are listening to Radio Mac, broadcasting on 107.1 FM from the heart of Bradford. And I'm your host, Asif Sabah, in the studio. And don't forget, if you want to send me any messages, you can actually visit my website at www.asifsabahmindfulness.com and send me some messages. You can send me some messages about the verses of the Quran if you want, and I can do a talk on any specific verse if you request it, and we'll take it from there. But I can only just come in and talk about different things, but I'm sure you've got questions. You can even phone the studio and ask any questions on 01274 570 900, and I'll be able to answer any calls, any queries. But the best time to do that is actually during the commercial break, unless I'll see if I can stop and I can put a nasheed on or something while I pick up the call. But I'll try my best. So but saying that, if you would like me to do a talk on any topic from the Quran, like send me verses from the Quran, and I'll do a talk on that specific verse, linking other verses in if need be. And I hope maybe it answers some of your questions, if you've got any questions regarding the Quran. And the version of the Quran that I use is the Allama Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation from Arabic to English. And that's the version of the Quran that I use when I'm reading the Quran for myself. And so let's get back to the topic on meditation. Now, meditation is an ancient practice, and it's been around for thousands of years. And despite its long history, meditation has become increasingly popular in recent years, and it's something that both young and old can practice. And it's an individual journey. It's your journey. Because we go through life, we only ever get taught to look out at the external world, and we're there to make a change in the external world, make a change to what is going on around us by all various different means. Yet then we forget to change our own selves. And this is where I think we go wrong. First, we should learn to change ourselves, and then the external will change. And meditation is about going within yourself, seeing what is there, and then working on yourself and getting to know yourself, and then changing some of the harmful thoughts that arise within you into beautiful thoughts. And then that's where your perception of life will change, because your perception of life is dictated by the thoughts that you manifest within your mind. So meditation and its practice is a way of helping you to calm your mind. And its practice helps you to reduce the thoughts that build up due to a life's path that you are on, and all the conditioning that has taken place around you. And it's not too long before you begin to recognize its benefits in your daily life. And these benefits include physical, mental, and emotional well-being. And so as you explore the importance of meditation, you will realize its value. And it is a valuable tool, if you want, because it's something you have to, work on. You have to delve into yourself. You get to know yourself on a personal level. You realize that everything starts with the thoughts that you think. And if your thoughts are of a harmful nature to yourself, then that is going to expand out into the external world and the external things around you. And that's how you're going to see life according to the thoughts that you think. And what about those partial truths that you've accepted as full truths? So why not delve a little bit deeper beyond the everyday thoughts that you think and get to the whole truth rather than just a partial truth or a half truth? Because you will, if you've accepted a partial or half truth as the full truth, then there's a lot of information that is missing regarding your complete understanding. And so what does meditation allow you to do? It allows you to go beyond the everyday thoughts that you think and look within yourself and retrieve inspiration, information beyond your physical reality. Now, what is inspiration? Well, inspiration is something that exists outside of yourself. Inspiration is information that comes into you to help you on your journey. And inspiration is something that has not stopped. It has always been there, but because we've been so busy in the physical reality, we haven't been paying enough attention when it enters our mind. And so this is why meditation is helpful. Now, sometimes I've said this so many times before, we think we're clever because we think every thought that we have, we've created ourselves through our own brains. But we are inspired, and the word inspiration is in the Quran 45 times. 45 times. But very rarely do we talk about inspiration. Where does inspiration come from? It comes from a place that exists outside of the physical brain. We pick up inspiration like telepathy. We think all the thoughts within us are from ourselves, but we know, just like the darkness can whisper into the hearts of humanity and tell us, oh, do this, so too the light whispers into our hearts from an external force. And when you begin to understand that not all your thoughts are from yourself, this is when you start to understand why the word inspiration is in the Quran. And that you are right now picking up inspiration. It comes as part of your feelings or intelligent emotions. So inspiration can come to us in so many different ways. But because we haven't been taught how to recognize its existence in our lives, we just carry on living our lives like it doesn't exist, and all the thoughts we think come from ourselves. And so it's by paying attention, looking within ourselves, the practice of muraqabah, which is the Islamic name for meditation, is so important in your life. And so one of the well-known benefits of meditation is in its ability to reduce stress and anxiety. And when we meditate, it's a matter of focusing our attention on our breath and letting go of worries and distractions. And this helps to quiet the mind and slow down our thoughts, and it promotes a sense of calmness and relaxation. And research has shown that meditation can effectively reduce stress and anxiety, even depression. All these things can improve our overall mental health. It's been proven. So why don't we meditate? The thing is, people are saying, oh, you don't need to meditate. Well, it's a part of Islam. But it's been removed by those people who think it doesn't really matter. But meditation is going within it and re-establishing that connection, that opening up your memory so that you can recall things that are beyond the physical world. Even your existence that takes, before you came to this world. There is a pathway, a journey that brought you from the hereafter into this physical world. There is also a pathway that can take you back home, even though you're living in this physical world. It opens you up spiritually. So, just like you came here, you came from somewhere, why not retrace your journey back to the hereafter? It's possible. You just type in meditation in the internet, and so much information will come up about it. Thousands of pages. Meditation on this, meditation on that. At the end of the day, it's the same journey. People put different ideas into it. But what is meditation in its basic form? It's you reconnecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is you allowing yourself to be still, ignoring the negative and harmful thoughts you think, and just establishing that reconnection. And it's just not a brain reconnection. This is a whole being of reconnectedness. Because your feelings will come into play. Your heart center will come into play. Your mind will come into play. Your intuition will come into play. Your higher emotions will all come into play. But it's a matter of your whole being reconnecting to the hereafter. Don't just think it's a brain thing or a mind thing. It's a whole spiritual body thing. It is the whole of you reconnecting to the hereafter. And this is the beauty of meditation. Even the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would meditate in the cave of Hira. You may be asking yourself, what is meditation? Well, think of it as a deeper form of prayer. You can pray. You can do your namaz, you can do your salat. And that is good. But there's more to it than that. There is more to it than that. Because if you do it, sometimes it can just be lip service. Like the Quran terms it. The whistling and clapping of hands. You read the Quran, especially the Allama Abdullah Yusuf Ali version. And it talks about those people who pray, and it's no more than the whistling and clapping of hands. It's just a show. There's no real connection being made between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or anything else. It's just like a show. Meditation puts you on a totally different path. It allows you to really reconnect. You don't need to meditate in a big group. You can just do it by yourself. And that is where you can really establish that reconnection and bring into your life a real awareness as you travel your journey back to the hereafter. Because the Quran does speak about seek the home of the hereafter. So why not go back? I'll see if I can find that verse. I don't know if I've brought it with me, but I'll have a good look during the next advert, and we'll see. But it tells you, seek ye the home of the hereafter. And so, as you know, meditation can also help you to improve your focus and concentration by training your mind to focus and stay focused and calm at the same time. And we are able to think clearly and improve our ability to concentrate. So again, it's more than just meditation. It helps with so many things that are going on within your mind. And this will make you more productive in everything that you do. Now, this can be especially helpful for students and professionals, for example, who need to focus for long periods of time. And you're able to create positive thoughts that allow you to overcome struggles and distractions and tiredness, which can lead you to becoming lazy if you don't meditate. So you can overcome your laziness just by learning to change your thoughts, bring in the thoughts that you want to create rather than be dictated to by whatever thoughts are happening within yourself. Like, for example, harmful thoughts may come in and they'll stop you. They'll say, you don't need to do that. Just chill, just do this, just do that. Instead of getting on with what you know you're meant to be doing. So you have it builds up a certain kind of inner strength within yourself, so that you don't become lazy anymore, but you get on with your life. You don't stay in bed until 12 o'clock in the afternoon, but you're up at 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whenever you get up. You're up early in the morning and you're getting on with life, experiencing life, because you're focused on what you want to do. Because, don't forget, your life depends on the kinds of thoughts you entertain. Now, if you're going to, stay in bed until 12 o'clock in the afternoon, then what makes you do that? A lack of focus? It's like you're just sleeping your life away. And what a waste of life when you think about it. The best thing is get up early. Look at what you can do. And, by the time the evening comes, you've lived a full day. And, don't allow laziness to rule your life. So meditation, it's been shown to have numerous physical health benefits as well. For example, it can help to lower blood pressure, reduce chronic pain and improve sleep quality, so that you're not tired in the morning, so that you want to get up, so that you want to live your life. You want to go out there and do what you want to do, but do it with love. It has also been shown that it boosts your immune system and can slow down the aging process. These are all things that meditation can do for you. Because don't forget, you know yourself, if you are stressed and anxious, what does that do? What does that do to you? It leads to illness. How many people have had strokes, had heart attacks, and all sorts of illnesses because they are so stressed out at work. But it's not the work that's stressing them out, it's their thoughts in their mind. This is what's stressing people out. So this is where meditation can help you to reduce the negative, harmful thoughts and bring in positive life thoughts to help you on your journey. And that will change your whole outlook on life. You'll be positive. You'll go out there and you'll do what you need to do, but you'll do it with a focused mindset. Because this is how powerful your thoughts are. They drive you along. They give you a reason to live. And it is so easy to slip into a mindset where you've basically given up. So strive. Just make meditation a part of your everyday life. And you will see so many more benefits. It will give you purpose. You see, irregularity wants to take away your purpose because then you're easy to control. You're easy to manipulate, and you're right where the irregularities want you to be. But when you've got drive, when you've got purpose, when you've got hope, you've got meaning. When you've got meaning, you've got purpose. And you can use that to drive you along on your pathway. And it isn't about achieving externally to yourself. It's achieving internally. So meditation, it has been proved and linked to improved health in general. And it even reduces certain diseases and conditions such as heart disease and stroke. Because you're not stressed out. You don't allow thoughts to invade you. And even in the Quran it tells you, I don't have these verses because I didn't know I was going to mention this, but it talks about how Allah allowed your enemies to come in and disfigure your face. Now don't forget, you are a spiritual person. When you think negatively, your spiritual appearance darkens. When you fill your heart with love, when you fill your whole self with love, you become light and bright. So what are these enemies that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows to come into you to disfigure your face? Those are the harmful whispers, because you've given your life up. You haven't used your motivation. You haven't believed. You've cut yourself off from believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allow meditation to be a part of your life, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. Just take that moment to breathe and allow positiveness to come into your life. And it will help you, because all illnesses are a result of your thought processes. Think about it. If you believe and think healthily, then you become health. And just like, any situation, if you think harmful thoughts, eventually that will lead to stress. Eventually that will lead to depression, and strokes and heart attacks occur. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my brothers and sisters, and welcome back. You are listening to Radio Mac, broadcasting on 107.1 FM from the heart of Bradford, and I'm your host Asif Sabah, live in the studio. And today we're just talking about meditation, or the Islamic term is Muraqabah, and how meditation can increase your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a way of re-establishing and going on an inner journey, and it's like the reverse journey that brought you into this world, because you were alive before you came into this world, and you descended through the heavens to this physical reality, and you were born here into this world, and there is another journey that takes you back home, back to the hereafter, but you have still got a physical body, so you can reconnect, re-establish that divine connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why the Quran talks about how each soul must come up struggling for itself. And that is the journey. It's the journey home that takes you back. It brings back that awareness that you had of the hereafter. And that information about the hereafter is always there. It's existing right now. But what's happened is we have cut ourselves off from it. Well, meditation is a way of re-establishing that divine connection and opening up our memory so that we can feel that inspiration, so that we can reconnect ourselves back to a real realization of the existence of the hereafter. And it becomes a reality rather than a myth or a fairy tale that is passed on. And it's by re-establishing that connection that we become more alive than we were before. And so part of meditation, it has so many benefits, and it's a practice that's, if you look at all the religions of the world, it is something that is practiced by every single religion in the world. And if you go into their understandings of meditation, you will still find that same information contained within the verses of the Quran. And this is the link that ties all the religions together. It's when you separate yourself into all these little groups and this, that and the other, that things become lost, and you take yourself further away from the truth when you establish all these little groups. So pay attention to what is going on around you and within you, and you'll see the revelation of truth will come to you through your own inner self, because meditation will open you up to the real truth, and you can't deny the truth. You can cover it up for a bit, but eventually you must return to the truth that you denied. So meditation has also been linked to increasing happiness and positivity in your life. And by training your mind to focus on the present moment, you are able to develop a greater appreciation for life and the world around you. And this helps to increase your feelings of gratitude, of joy, and contentment. And it can help you to cultivate a more productive, optimistic outlook on life. And you see, everybody has this ability to look within themselves and seek that inner pathway that goes beyond the everyday thoughts that we think about life in this world. We grow and we develop and we become more spiritual in our outlook. And it's not about raising yourself up through the material world, but learn to raise yourself spiritually, because that is where the greatest advantage is. You will gain so much more. And this is where you need to be sure about which direction you are going in. So focus on the love, the light, and that which you know to be true within yourself, and let that be your guide. And reject, or let's not say reject, let's use a different word. Maybe just ignore the things that don't sit well within yourself. And so meditation has so many benefits for you. And meditation can also help improve your relationships by promoting greater empathy and compassion. Because what you do is you end up reducing the harmful thoughts, those negative emotions that try to block your view of the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as you learn to block the harmful thoughts, what does that do for you? It leaves room for love to flow into your life. It leaves room for the gift of love in your life that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what will happen then as your harmful thoughts are removed? Loving thoughts will flourish, and your outlook on life will change. Because you haven't got these harmful thoughts in your mind, or they're not as dominant, you don't feel the need to express them. So you will express yourself differently. In other words, the way you speak to people will change, because you have changed. The thoughts within you have changed. You have elevated your consciousness, and you now reside in a greater state of conscious awareness, rather than just the harmful thoughts that run around at the lower levels of creation, expressing themselves. It is for you to grow. It is for you to develop and come up struggling for yourself. And the thoughts of love that you express within your life will automatically go out from you, and you will interact with other people in a much more positive way, a beautiful way. So when you meditate and you develop a deeper understanding of yourself and others, you are better able to appreciate the perspectives and the experiences of those around you. Instead of just pushing people off and telling them that they are wrong, you may look and think, well, that's a different way of looking at something. It's not a matter of who is right and who is wrong. Your thoughts create your perception and expression in life. And if you close your mind to other possibilities and other understandings, then you limit yourself, because it could be that there is a gem of gold tied to what somebody else says that you need to hear. So isn't it just a sign of arrogance and close-mindedness, when you just cut yourself off from wanting to know. So allow yourself to meditate. Look within yourself and don't be afraid. Don't let the fear override your consciousness and its need to explore what is within you on a much deeper level. Because as you look within yourself, conflict will be reduced. Not only conflict with the outside world, but as you reduce the conflict within your own self, that will automatically reduce in the way you interact with other people. So you will improve your communication skills. And this will allow you to build stronger and more meaningful relationships with the people around you and the people in your life. So meditation is valuable. And if you've liked what I've talked about, why not go to my website at www.asifsabermindfulness.com. There you can find a book that I've written called Self-Help Guide to Meditation and the Quran. You can also find another book that I've written called The Rock Crystals, which is an adventure story into the hereafter based on real experiences. And if you want, drop me a message. If you've got any verses you'd like me to talk about from the Quran, send me those verses. There's links on my website, and by doing that, I'll do a talk on those verses. The Quran that I use is the Allama Abdullah Yusuf Ali translation from Arabic to English. So, you'll be able to find that information there and drop me messages. And then I'll specifically do a talk on whatever verse you'd like me to do a talk. I'll get all the information I need and explain in detail all related to meditation and spirituality. And I hope, inshallah, that will help you on your own pathway. Because even in my research, when I'm finding the information, I'll be learning things as well. So that will be my part of my research. And so, maybe I'll think about something or come across something or be inspired to talk about something that I hadn't thought about before. So I will be learning too. So do send me, go to the website at www.asifsabermindfulness.com and drop me a message. And if you want, buy my books. You can get them on Amazon. They only take a day or two to arrive. And, you'll be able to also leave a review once you've read the book, which would be fantastic. It all helps. And let's connect. And, if you need my help, you can also find other details regarding how you can contact me on my website. And I'll be more than happy to help you. And, don't forget, I'm here to help you. You will help me in different ways. So buy my book and let it inspire you. It talks about how meditation can be of such benefit to you and how it can help you. And don't forget, what day? We're on March, April, May. May, at the end of May, inshallah, this week is the last week of reading this book. I was going to do the audio, but I've just delayed it by a week or so. But I'm working on a new book. It's going to be finished really soon. I mean, I've been reading it and I'm hardly making any changes, which is a really good sign. So a new book will be coming out really soon, in the next, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 weeks. I'll have a new book out. So I'm kind of getting really excited about finishing it and introducing you to new information regarding all this information I'm talking about. It's going to take you on an incredible journey. And so if you can, go and buy my first book, because the first book lays the foundation for the second book. The second book is based on all the information I couldn't really put into the first book. And so, you can read the second book as a standalone book, but it will help if you've already read the first book. So, if you can, read the first book. It's on Amazon, called Self-Help Guide to Meditation and the Quran. It takes you on a beautiful journey into the depths of your soul, and it lays the foundation for this second book coming out. And that is going to reveal even a greater in-depth. I'm going to take you on such an incredible journey into the depths of your own self. And it will help you to really re-establish that real connection between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so do go to my website to find out more information. And so don't forget, meditation is a valuable practice to incorporate into your daily routine. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, would go to the cave of Hira and meditate to elevate his consciousness. And he took it to such a high level, he surpassed everybody, even the angels, and brought into this world the glorious Quran. And it is a journey that takes you back home. You came from the hereafter. That journey from the hereafter to this world is a journey. It's a pathway. And so when you're in this world, you can retrace your footsteps back along that pathway and experience the hereafter for yourself. And it's all in the Quran, especially in this second book. So do look into the first book, Self-Help Guide to Meditation and the Quran. Once you've read that, you are going to be absolutely astounded. And when this second book comes out, it may be I'm hoping, inshallah, 3 weeks it will be complete. I almost finished this last reading. I was going to just start the audio book this week, but I've just kind of delayed it a week. I thought, well, what's in a week if it means I'm finding something that I really need to make sure is correct? But I'm at that stage now where, I remember saying last year I would have this book finished. I think September I had in mind, thinking, yeah, it's so there. And it should be finished in September last year. But then I got into editing and making changes and doing all these different things to it to get it perfect. And it's reached that stage where I am absolutely happy with it. And I feel like all the information is there that I want to put into it. The sentence structures are saying exactly what I want them to say according to the inspiration that I've received. And, I've reached that stage where I really believe, inshallah, it will be complete in the next three weeks, roughly, give or take. But, it's so close. So, inshallah, you'll go and buy this first book, and if you read it, by the time the second book comes out, you'll be all ready and it will be there waiting for you, and you'll enjoy it just as much as the first book. But it talks about meditation, and it takes you on that spiritual journey to take you closer back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to give you, to help you, to guide you. And as you learn yourself, you will hopefully, inshallah, ascend and elevate your own consciousness. Because as you know, each soul must come up struggling for itself. I can't do it for you. You have to do it yourself. But I can maybe help you and give you a few tools and a few understandings to help you on your journey. So allow meditation to be an active part of your life, and allow it to help you to connect more deeply to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and change the way you communicate with others as you fill yourself with love for all people. For all people. And as you do, everything around you will change, because your thoughts create your perception of the world. Change your thoughts and your perception will change. Just like the times when you're happy, you go out and it's a nice sunny day, you feel great because the sun's shining, everything's happy. You feel good. You don't have to wear a big coat when it's raining. You're walking down the road, or you're driving in the car, whatever you're doing, and you feel nice because it's nice and warm and you feel good. But what's happened? What happens when you get those days where it's raining and you have to put your coat on, and it's throwing it down, and you haven't got an umbrella, and you have to wrap up, and you're going out, just nip into the shop. You're kind of hunched over, going, ooh, this weather, and you run into the shop just to get back home. You say you want to get something, from the shop. Anyway, there's a difference. Your thoughts create your reality. Whatever thoughts you're thinking creates your reality. Inshallah, these books I'm writing will help you with your thoughts, to create thoughts that are going to elevate your conscious awareness, to open you up, to give you an understanding that is going to bring an awareness into your life. Meditation will do that. But you have to learn to listen to the inspiration that's coming into your soul from the hereafter. It exists. The hereafter is a real place. It's a place where you can go and visit. It's not in some far distant place at the other end of the galaxy. The angels are closer to you than your jugular vein. So that means heaven exists right now. And it's right here, right now with you. If the angels are so close, why aren't you experiencing it? Because you have cut yourself off with disbelief and doubt. So open yourself up, meditate, find your way home. If you need the extra help, visit my website at www.asifsabarmindfulness.com. There you can click on links. It will take you to Amazon, where you can download my books. And inshallah, they will help you on your journey.